Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the seat installation on my 1967 Mustang fastback. This is the car right here that we're installing these seats in. I don't know if you recollect on part 1, we got the seat pans cut out. We did some modifications to the actual seats themselves. The seats that we're installing in this car are out of a 2014 Mustang GT. They're leather power seats. They're just the factory ones that came with the car, and we're installing them on this car, which has very uncomfortable factory seats. So that's pretty much just for comfort. The new seats are 6-way power seats. They have lumbar support and heated and a bunch of much more convenient and comfortable things for this old car. And now we're gonna keep going with the seats. We're gonna mock up the seats into the car now that the seat rails are welded in. And we are gonna weld those tabs to the seats. And we're just gonna keep going with this installation by getting it fully welded out, painted. We're gonna extend the repair all of the sound deadening in the car and kind of seam seal paint, get this thing just buttoned up 100% so that this car is drivable again with the new seats. So thanks for watching, stay tuned and enjoy the video. Okie dokie, so a whole bunch of work done. In the car, I have the seat pans fully welded in along the sides there and there. I also put seam sealer on a bunch of areas, including the existing like floor pan to rocker seam, just because probably from the factory they couldn't get to that seam, being that the seat pan is in the way. So these are welded in. I put a coat of etching primer and then a coat of Pour 15 on them. So these are ready to go. The next step for this area is to just let this fully dry and then cover it with some more sound deadener. I have some extra sound deadener left. So I'll cover this with sound deadener, passenger side, driver side. This is 100%. I'll have to do a little bit of wiring, pulling power off of the center console to power the seats. So that I have to do before I flip the carpet back. As far as the seats are concerned, all the tabs are fully welded in and painted. These bolts that are bolting the seats down are 3/8. The original seats had 5/16 bolts. These are 3/8 bolts, much bigger and heavier. And then you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it on the time lapse, but I did actually drill these holes after it was kind of welded in place. I drilled these out to 1/2 inch because there's no point in fighting getting these seats to sit on the studs. So they're 1/2 inch holes with a 3/8 bolt, which in my opinion is perfect. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. But yeah, we're also painted up, and then I cut down these rails because this distance from this mounting tab to this mounting tab is much narrower in this car, kind of front to back. It's much narrower. So the extra rail is just not necessary. So I've cut those off on both of them, which is great. And I did do a little test with my battery here to make sure that I wasn't like running out of bearing room, but that's all good. One little thing that I did is I'm just clearancing these, so when the seat is in the fully down position, both this bracket and this one here, when the seat's in the fully down position, these things won't hit the rails because the rails do go this way in the car. So that's it. Let's keep going. Sound deadener, wiring, seat in car, and comfort. Let's keep going. Okay, so the seats are bolted down. I've cleaned up some of this sort of working area and put some things away, which is great. So, yeah, these things look awesome. Headrests aren't in yet, but the seats are bolted in. They're not wired in, but you know, this is sort of the permanent installation. They're extremely solid. The center console fit really good. And they are very comfortable. So the next thing is wiring. Now, this wiring here is a little bit of an embarrassment. I am an electrician, but I'm not an automotive electrician. So it does look like a little bit of a rat's nest. There's a couple of things going on here. There's some of the original wiring, like this wiring here, this little connector here, which turns on the light on the back of the center console here, and then there's also a light on the inside of the center console. It's just like the dome light that turns on when you open the door. The rest of this wiring is not original wiring, and I actually have a fuse block here that just kind of sits right here and has about an 8 gauge wire, so like a 40 amp wire that runs through to the battery. And this fuse block, it runs the power windows, and that's what the majority of this wiring is. We have power windows, and we also have a power door lock, remote clicker, sensor, control module in behind the center console. Now, this center console, it's an original center console. It's not the permanent center console. At some point here, I'll be putting out a video showing a center console upgrade. I'm going to make a custom center console, and I'm going to redo all of this wiring, and I'm actually going to design the center console so that it can actually it'll have a spot to actually house the wiring in a neat and organized way. So for now, this is all temporary, so please forgive me. This isn't a permanent installation, and in fact, a lot of the reason why there is so much wiring here is I don't want to cut the wires short yet, so I'm kind of just trying to tuck it in as best as possible for now. So, next thing on the list is tie in these wires here, which are the wires that go down in through under the carpet and have the connectors that connect into the electrics of the seat. We're going to tie this into a spare spot on the fuse block to make the electric seats work. So, let's keep going with that. Well, that didn't go very well. My camera messed up for the time lapse for putting the center console back together, but either way, center console's back together, wiring's back together, seats are on their own circuit. I got them both on a 15 amp fuse. They both go back and forth, as you can see. So let's just continue getting this car put back together. We'll clean it up, we'll get the floor mats back in, and we'll get it fully buttoned up and put back together. Well guys, there we have it. The seats are fully installed, wired up, ready to go. So this car, or this part of the project, is essentially done. Some of the things that are going to happen to the seats in the future are there's going to be a new center console, and the new center console is going to clean up the wiring and include the circuits and the switches for the heated seats, because these seats are heated. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It is done, bolted up. I backed it out of the garage. The car is absolutely filthy. If you haven't watched any of the other videos, just to note, this car is a 1967 Mustang. One thing to note is this car originally was a coupe, so it is a fastback conversion. But this conversion was done right with all the proper Dynacorn panels and the complete Dynacorn inner structure. So it's close to about as close to a fastback you can get, minus the numbers on the VIN on the inner fender well. Otherwise than that, it would take a lot of work to figure out whether or not this car was an original fastback or a conversion. So that's it. That's where we're at. We're gonna call this one done. Now, that being said, I am gonna do another short little video, kind of giving you my thoughts and my take on this modern seat conversion into your own car. I have some thoughts on it. I don't know. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. But as far as now is concerned, that's going to be a wrap for this two-part series of the seat conversion, modern seat installation in a 1967 Mustang. So I appreciate you watching, taking the time. Let me know in the comments whether you like the video. Let me know if you think there's some things I can improve on. I really appreciate the feedback. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.